All right. I got 6 o'clock. Not a whole lot on the agenda tonight, so hopefully we go through this pretty quick and get on out of here. This weekend, do you know if Joe's gonna be available? He's planning, okay, all right. First thing up there, Roman number 5, presentation of resolution honoring Tennessee's amateur radio operators. We'll recognize Representative Reedy. He was a signer on that bill. So he'll be here to present that to the radio operators. And I believe the president of the local ham radio club is going to be here to accept that. It's awesome. They're handy to have in times of. All right, we've only got one notary, a new notary. Under old business, update on the hospital. I talked to those folks just before coming up here. Our understanding of the state law, 45 days. The TCA code says they have 45 days to review that. That review process started on May 24th, which by our estimation, it ended July 8th. We are working on trying to get confirmation from the AG's office that is, in fact, the way they read that law. I'm hoping to know something tomorrow. Solid waste update.
Who's the information coming from about the AG? Is that coming from Braden, or is that something y'all already talked to the AG about, or?
I have struggled to get any information out of the Attorney General's office. The information that I have gotten has come through sources other than the Attorney General's office. We were notified through an email from Jennifer Beckwith and Representative Reedy's office that the AG's review process actually started on May 24th. We got that notification sometime into I believe the second week of June. We're getting no information from the AG, none. I tried to call the director over the public interest division 3 times today. I've emailed her, I've called her, I've done this for months, and I get no response from her whatsoever. We don't get any information without reaching to state representatives, state senators, or even U.S. representatives. So,
We spoke with Rena asked about
well, I don't know who you're talking to. Are you talking about the Attorney General?
Yes.
Well, this information all had to go to Janet Kleinfelter. Her name is Janet Kleinfelter. She's a Deputy Attorney General. She's over the. Braden Health has, they know people in the Attorney General's office, somebody named Skirmetti, I'm not even sure how to spell it. And they've reached out to him to try to get information, but the only way we get any information is through Representative Reedy's office. And it's 2 weeks late, it's bits and pieces. I don't know why.
Someone told you, if you didn't hear nothing within 45 days.
The way the statute reads is they have 45 days. Once they start the review process, they have 45 days to object to the sale or the transfer of a public interest hospital. And so that 45 days, by our estimation, ended on July 8th.
So is that 45 working days or 45
Well,
days?
The law says 45 days. It doesn't designate business days, calendar days. It doesn't say. That's why we've asked for clarification. If they're counting business days, then we got another week or two.
Yeah.
But we're taking the law at its word that it's 45 days. 45 days is 45 days. Like I said, we're trying to get clarification. Other than going and showing up at the Attorney General's office, I don't know what else to do. And I'm not sure I could get in. So, any other questions on that? Moving on to the solid waste update. I got a call from Steve Swanson at Waste Quip yesterday. Our new compactor is still scheduled to be shipped out on July 27th. That was the date they promised when we ordered it. So that's on track. The paving crew started moving equipment and stuff up there today and started to do dirt work and getting things prepared. And they're supposed to start putting out pavement tomorrow morning.
Sounds good.
I've got, with everything that's going on, the passing of Miss Cheryl and trying to figure out everything we got to do with that. And I'm a little behind on getting a few things done in my office, but I've got to get the invitation to bid put out for the tire cutter. So I'll get that done tomorrow. Hopefully things will settle down a little bit and I'll get that written up and put out. And I'm going to cut a PO for the pre-crusher. Still waiting and trying to get clarification on whether that pre-crusher is going to work with a phase converter that we need because we don't have 3-phase power out there yet. Moving on to the Yellow Creek Tower.
Can you back up 1 minute? I may have missed it, but on the hospital update, is any updates on the signature lawsuit we've had running with this lawyers are just seem like they don't want it to end.
The latest on that is it was scheduled to be heard by Judge Wolf, and then the former mayor was arrested, and Judge Wolf recused himself, and that it's supposed to be set with a new judge in a different district. And so we're
Still dragging on.
It's dragging on, but it's dragging on. Now we're waiting on the court system. All of the depositions have all been done. Everything's been done.
Okay.
We're just waiting on the judge to hear it.
So they actually lost the case, but they appealed it, is that correct?
Right, exactly.
All right, thanks.
The Yellow Creek Tower, update on that. We were afraid it was gonna get delayed a couple of days, but it only, the fugitive that we had chasing him down and everything, delayed that, I think about 12 hours, 12 to 24 hours. But once they got started, that transition went really smooth. No major hiccups or anything to speak of. So now Houston County and the 911 district are in command and control of our own communication system. We don't have to, and we have increased channel capacity now. At best, we had 3 channels available with Greer. Now most sites have 5 channels available. So if there was a major incident and you had fire, sheriff, and ambulance there, all of the communications was tied up. So now we've got a couple of extra channels that I think all of the sites but one, right, Dale? One of them still just had 4 channels?
Yes, Culpeper is still down to 4 while we're waiting for some replacement parts. Drew said we're doing it, and that's not really good.
But we still, even with that 1 channel down, we still have more lines of communication open than we did with Greer. So that's all good. Any questions or anything on that?
Is the tower gonna be on schedule, is that correct? Or is it gonna be
It's complete.
It's already done?
It's done. Yeah. The radio switchover is all done. All the radios have been reprogrammed. I haven't spoken out of turn, have I, guys?
No.
Well,
Drew, I was saying, there's some site work to be done, but the tower itself is completely not working.
yeah, there's some gravel and landscape finalizing at the Yellow Creek Tower site to be done. And that's it. Under new business, first and foremost, we need another judicial commissioner after the passing of Kay Hudson. I met with Judge Vinson and Judge-elect Runyon, and at their suggestion, they suggested that we do this as soon as possible, because right now we only have one judicial commissioner. They work very closely with Donna's office. If that judicial commissioner is not available, then somebody from Donna's office has to get called out in the middle of the night. It makes it difficult for those folks. So at Judge Vinson's urging, I felt like we needed to go ahead and put this forward. There were a couple of applicants that had put in resumes, and Judge Vinson and Mark, we both reviewed those and made a selection. And we'll be putting that name forward on Monday. And I don't know if y'all want to speak anything on that. There's Clista Brooks is who they're wanting to appoint to that position.
We're just asking you to appoint Mr. Brooks as judicial commissioner at the next meeting. And like the mayor said, we only have one. If something happens to that one, we're gonna find, getting somebody to come out at night. It's not easy to get these people from the clerk's office to come out. It's not part of their job to do that. They have to do it. So it'll be assistance to law enforcement if they need a warrant in the middle of the night. We've got an extra warrant. So anyway, that's my recommendation in consultation with Judge Runyon.
What was it that Krista stood out? Why her?
Well, she's got she's well educated. She's a retired school teacher. She's operated a business for here in town and familiar with the court system. And we felt like that she would be a candidate.
Very good to see you, sir. Good yours.
Thank you.
We've always had two judicial commissioners. They're both part-time employees. Mr. Hudson passed away, so now Miss Judy Ferris is doing it full-time. She's the only one. So adding the second one will put us back to having two part-time. It's basically just a part-time on-call position, and they just alternate. When one's off, the other one's on call.
Let me say that Judy Ferris is available to do it full-time by herself, but the three of us talked about it, that it'd be wise to have one more, like we have for a long, long time. We've had two, and we just cover all bases like that. Things we cover. We'll have everything taken care of in the event that one gets ill, call it whatever. There's so many things cause somebody not to be able to come out at night. So anyway, that's our recommendation.
Thank you, Judge. Anybody
Thank
have
you,
any
sir.
questions for the judge? Any other questions? All right, moving on to number 2. Of course, due to the passing of our sweet Cheryl Moore, such a tragedy not only to her family but to the county at large. The timing of her passing away seriously complicated things. Because we're so close to the election, she was on the ballot and she's running unopposed. So Tennessee state law says that we have 120 days to appoint somebody to that position. And I started scrambling, trying to get it posted in the paper and everything to try to get it done as soon as possible. And then after talking to Annette, I found out, if we appointed somebody at this meeting, they would serve until August 4th. Ms. Cheryl's gonna win the election because she's the only one on the ballot, even though she's passed away. So then we would have to go through that whole process of appointing somebody again in September to serve until the election in November. So I'm trying to do this one time. Linda Lambert, Ms. Cheryl's deputy, is very competent. She's been doing the job for a long time. She is willing to hold down the fort, do that job on an interim basis until we can appoint somebody, which we need to do in September. And once we do that in September, they can, not in September, in August. Once we do that in August, after the election, they can serve until the election in November. Because of the timing of her passing and everything, they are going to be able to pull petitions. People are going to be able to get their name on the ballot and everything for the November election. And so the people of Houston County will be able to duly elect their next register of deeds in November. So in August, we need to appoint somebody to serve from then until November. So it's as clear as mud, I know. But in the meantime, as a deputy clerk, I think Miss Linda was making a little over $12 an hour. She's willing to step up, take on the responsibility and the liability and everything of the job. It's just my belief, but I think that we need to pay her more appropriately in the meantime while she's doing that. So we've included a budget amendment. We can move some of Ms. Cheryl's pay, some of the registered deeds pay out of that line item into the deputy pay line item and pay her an appropriate wage for stepping up to take over that role.
What's appropriate?
Since she's not going to be an elected official, her pay is going to be a little different than Ms. Cheryl's was because we'll have to calculate unemployment. I think that's about the only other difference, isn't it?
Well, I moved the amount that Ms. Cheryl would have been paid for those 5 weeks.
Right.
It's up to you
I mean,
whether you want to pay her the same rate. The difference is, sorry, I'm behind the
Yeah,
lunch.
we're,
The difference is I cannot pay her Ms. Cheryl's rate out of the register of deeds line item because she's not an elected official. I can move that into the deputy line item and I can pay up to what Ms. Cheryl was making, whatever you all decide. And we can do that for 5 weeks until you make the appointment. Once you make the appointment, that person, whoever's appointed, can be paid out of the register of deeds line item. But I did move a full 5 weeks of Ms. Cheryl's pay down into the deputy line item. And the reason I did that is because you have to have 2 people to certify all documents. So their part-time person with Miss Linda acting as a register of deeds, their part-time person is really going to have to be the full-time deputy, so we'll have to pay that as well. And that's why I moved 5 weeks of Ms. Cheryl's pay down. And I believe by law, we can pay her up to the same salary as the register of deeds as long as we do it out of that deputy line item.
You're just gonna need a motion Monday night to do that?
It needs, we have to do a budget amendment in order to move that money because it's in the salary line item. It has to be approved by.
Well, let me ask you this, I have no problem with that at all. But will she have the authority to sign the same thing as Cheryl had? Since she's not-
As the deputy clerk.
She can do whatever,
She can.
she's got the authority to do anything that needs to be done. Okay.
And when she's appointed as interim, and she's acting in that
Right.
capacity.
Well, I mean, it's- Yeah,
So really, there's not a lot of, like,
Yeah, there's really not they don't sign checks, they receipt money.
they stamp.
But they receipt those documents in as official record and official documents, and they have to be date and time stamped. And if one of them date and time stamps, the other one has to certify that was
Right. So
a
she can
true and
certify,
accurate.
she can certify her. if we-
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, as
She's doing the job, she'll get
yeah,
paid.
she stepped up. She's doing the job.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Okay.
So if you vote this budget amendment in, I would pay her the same as the elected official.
All right, moving on to, number 3. With Judge-elect Runyon moving to her new position, of course, we've lost our county attorney. And after quite a bit of consultation with her and talking to several different law firms and different lawyers, I'm of the opinion that Mr. Charles Parks would be a good option for us. He is the county attorney for Stewart County. So he's very familiar with the things that we're going to be facing, the documents, and all the, say, Charles Parks.
Okay.
He's a very, very competent young man. He's a young attorney, very smart. And he's familiar with the way we were paying Markley, and he's willing to work with us on a similar arrangement. With a few contingencies and changes as far as, he is going to have to travel more. We'll probably have to do more through email. I won't be able to just walk over to his office. That I did with Markley. That's real handy. But anyway, he's a competent attorney, and that's who I'd like to put forward.
Is he somebody that Markley and him said this way?
I'm sorry.
Is he who Markley and asked for, or is he?
Well, I'm asking for him to be appointed, but he come very highly recommended by Mark. And Markley and Sid are both. I'm sorry, Markley and Judge Vincent are both very familiar with him. And what's that?
I'm the one who did work.
Oh, okay.
We do our insurance company.
Okay.
Very light.
He
can't walk.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's got he's got some kind of disability, but he's
He had a four-wheeler wreck.
yeah, he's I've had several extensive conversations with him. He seems to be very confident.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about him. So moving on, number 4 is the Houston County Highway Department inventory. Got any questions about that? You can talk to Ms. Teresa. Teresa, is there anything of particular interest in your inventory that we need to know about, or is it just for informational
It's the
purposes?
same as, what we submitted in January when, I took over and did an inventory then. The only thing that may be added is, I don't think, the 306 over the EX was added. That's on there, but, other than that, it's the same.
There should be one. Maybe X.
Did you have a low boy in there too, Teresa?
Yes,
He's gonna be on
we bought the
the new one.
one from
Yeah.
Waverly, yeah. We have that. It should be on there.
Yeah, it's in there.
We have that from January too.
Thank you, Teresa. Right, moving on to number 5, Project Diabetes. This is the $449,300 grant. This is through UT, and I saw Miss Annette just walked in. Welcome, Miss Annette. And this is a no-match, 100% funded grant that's going to renovate the old county jail building up on Hill Street. Pretty excited. Turned it into
That's amazing, man. That much money for that. No stipulations whatsoever?
there's always stipulations.
Yeah.
the stipulations are that we have to convert it, the building has to be used for classrooms, so that Miss Annette and
Give diets of how.
and they're gonna teach cooking classes and food storage classes.
That's great.
They're gonna put some, raised bed, gardens in on the grounds up there. So it'll be like a community garden where people can come in and learn how to garden and grow fresh vegetables. And when they harvest those, they'll learn how to can them and store them and.
That's fantastic.
And it's all in an effort to get people to get some exercise and eat healthier.
Now, what about the county extension services? Are they possibly gonna move up to that building?
Well, as part of those stipulations, Miss Annette could probably speak
That's
to
much
that better than I
better, you know,
can.
you're needing room here in the courthouse.
Right.
Will happen.
According to the grant contract, it has to be used for its intended purpose for, what is it, 3 years?
3 years. It's a 3-year grant. The intended purpose is for the classes to change the chronic condition and health environment here within the county. We have a high diabetes rate, obesity rate, chronic conditions, so the whole intent is to change that. It does not cover bathrooms, nor does it cover office space for that 3 years. That doesn't mean that if we couldn't move up there, or we could move somewhere else, or we could stay here. That's up to the county, but we cannot do that for the 3 years of the grant.
Does that answer your question?
Right, but, you know, you're locked into it for 3 years.
Right.
Yes.
And the old building at $449,000. I'd rather knock the thing down and build something brand new, but, you know, you gotta go with what
You'd be hard pressed to build anything for $449,000.
It had to be a county-owned building,
Right.
so
Right.
that was the building that we had available.
Right.
So it's, I think it'll be good, something that's good for
Right,
the
it'll have the
county.
whole building and put it in use and get something out of it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
But it would be nice to eventually get our, you know, free up some space downstairs to, you
And
know.
just for perspective, building costs, because of COVID and all that, building costs have gone up exponentially. The spec building, 9 years ago, I think the industrial park board spent $1.6 million to build the spec building.
Right.
That building today would cost $5 million to
Right.
build. That's how much more it is to build something. So, yeah, you're not gonna get much for $449,000.
yeah, and we're trying to save as much money as we can to spread that money out. So we're trying to use the inmates to cover part of the labor on that. My full intent is to keep as much of that money in this county as I can keep in it. Doesn't mean that we may have to go outside for whatever, you know, because we just don't have it here. But the full intent is to do that. My father is going to oversee that, and he's volunteering his time just for gas money to get from his house to here and back. So he's going to oversee it. And if you don't know, some of you may know him. He grew up in this county. His name is Rayburn Lyle. So he grew up here. We have 9 generations in this county. So we're invested. So he's willing to do that so the county can have this building renovated.
And he's a retired architect.
Yes, he's a retired
That's
architect.
great.
With his help and hopefully his trustee, inmate labor, we can save some money. Anyone got any other questions for Ms. Annette?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to number 6. Number 6 is a letter of intent. You guys will recall that a few years ago, we changed our health insurance from a commercial plan to the state plan. And it's been a great plan. It's been a great benefit to our employees. They get much better health insurance, and it's cheaper on the county. This is a letter of intent for us to try to add the vision and dental to that plan. Good.
Did I get all that right?
Yes. The only thing I'll say is that this plan starts January 1st. Open enrollment is in October, but you have to let them know your intent by the end of July, but you won't know what their rates are until September 1st. So we're sending a letter of intent with the expectation it's going to be a good plan, a better plan, the rates are going to be the same. But if we find out it's not as good or the rates are higher, we may stick with, and we'll let you know, we may stick with where we're at right now. We just want the option to go into the state plan. You just have to let them know your intent so early that this is the only way we can think to do it.
And what's the deductible on the county plan for employees?
For the medical,
It's-
Medical, yeah.
It varies. It depends on what plan they pick. They have, what is it, 3 different options? I don't know. I don't have
three different plans that they can pick. I think it's the norm. I will say that our employees pay $50 a month for themselves. They can pick a higher plan. And then the county's portion is about $520 perhaps.
That's a good benefit.
That we
That's a good
pay.
benefit for their employees.
It's a very, it's a
It's
very low
expensive.
cost to our employees.
I'm just curious on what the deductible would be for the pay, like $50. Like if I worked here and paid $50 a month,
Right,
what would be my deductible?
Right.
5,000?
I can bring it up.
I mean, would it be high? Is it high deductible?
It's not a high deductible.
No, it's.
That's what I'm asking.
Right.
What
There-
would,
The plan that the county had when I became county mayor
that's the way it was.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was an astronomical
Exactly.
deductible. And it was, I think it was over $600. It
I mean,
cost
you
the
had to
county
have-
$600 for each person. that was
You had
on
to
it.
have something devastating to use it. You know.
Right.
I'm just curious in the
Yeah,
state.
it was catastrophic health.
You know, if it's 1,000, that'd be reasonable.
But this, you can pick different plans. Some plans have a lower copay when you go to the
Right,
doctor
right.
and they have a higher deductible, or they have a lower deductible and you pay
That's
more. It
That's
just
good,
depends
that's a
on-
good benefit to the
Right.
employees. no doubt about
Yeah,
it.
there's different options.
That's just a curious question.
Right. And if you want to know more, you can come stop by my office or call.
What's percentage, what percentage of the employees take?
We probably have about 38 to 45
Percent?
employees that take it
Oh.
out of 100 and some. So,
Okay.
and the ones that don't are usually retired military
They got other
families, or they
sources.
have other sources.
Gotcha, okay.
Not quite half of our employees take advantage of
Okay.
it. It's a good benefit.
That's real good.
All right, moving on to budget amendments and transfers. Number 1 is a budget amendment for the opioid settlement funds. We really don't know. We have no idea what exactly we're going to get as far as the opioid funds are. We're going to be receiving payments on those opioid settlements for the next 18 years. Our initial payment is going to be about $3,800. I don't know if that's monthly, quarterly, annually. I don't know. The information is very spotty on how that works. They put these formulas in there that you need a rocket science degree to figure out from the total settlement amount for the entire country, and then there's a formula for each state and each county within those states. We spent quite a bit of time trying to figure it out, and then we took a guess. So, as more information comes out about that, we'll keep y'all posted. The next budget amendment is for 149,300. That's the first year of the Project Diabetes grant. Let's just adding that to our budget. And number 3 is a budget amendment for insurance recovery. This is we had a compactor box that caught on fire. I have no idea how it caught on fire. They showed up one morning and it was burning out. It was about done. But, somebody threw a cigarette butt in there or dumped some hot charcoal ashes or something in there. But we just need to transfer that so we can see about getting a new box. Moving on to quarterly reports. We got the highway department and the trustees quarterly reports in there for y'all to review. And then the annual financial reports from Chancery Court, Circuit Court, General Sessions, Register of Deeds Office, and the trustees office. And those are all just for your information. Those are the annual reports from the last fiscal year. And then down to the emergency services reports. You got something, Sheriff?
I'd like to know where we're at on the litter truck. I only run and picked it offline in about 6 weeks. I don't know.
Can you get him up here? I
Yeah,
can't hear him.
can you come up here? We can't hear you.
The litter truck, our litter truck's in bad shape. We decided to take the other truck offline. I don't know really where we're at on that right now. We've also got a generator that has been offline for some time. We're gonna have to do something with, just to fix the generator part to see if the motor's any good. We're looking at better than 35,000. We put that generator on, the motor's bad, then we're looking at another diesel motor. We're not having much luck to have anybody come to the table and maintenance this old piece of equipment. And I think several months ago, we discussed the walk-in refrigerator out there that the money I thought was appropriate, but I don't know. We got a walk-in refrigerator that's fiscal, will come out. So,
Sheriff, I got a group in Nashville we deal with quite a bit. I'll give you his number. He's really good on generators. Maybe he's, we're confident in him, so he would have to identify either what you got.
this system we got's a Generac, and only it's a New Holland diesel. And everything, you can't do nothing with New Holland. Everything's got to come through Generac, and it's old. They don't. Every time they come down, they charge me $500. So yep, it's broke.
They want to yield. They want to yield.
They want to put the generator part in it, which is half the system.
And then see what the dick
Yeah.
motor do.
Then if we buy the new part, and then I don't have to turn around and buy a diesel motor.
So what would be the cost to repair it without having to go through the process of checking to see what's the matter?
Well, I don't know that.
Because that's a pretty exorbitant cost
It
that has
is.
to be at least half or a third of a new generator.
It is. It's going to be. I don't know. Perigo right now says these generators, if you can even get them, 5 to 6 months. Or I'm sorry, 6 weeks to later. But I don't know. It's hard. It's hard for every time they send someone out there. It's a tech, and you can tell they want to sell a new, updated system.
Yeah.
And when we got talking about the parts, they're not even sure they can get the parts for this thing. But I got to research, and not many of these Generacs are. I mean, I guess it served its purpose, but most, Tennessee Ridge and a lot of these people now are going to Caterpillar stuff to where they get the parts and get them worked on.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're working with Generac or not. The guy I know,
So
most of Caterpillar motors and John Deere motors.
You can't get parts for it. They got a patent on
Yeah.
all that stuff. The motor in that thing, Ford will tell you nothing. You holler, they'll tell you they don't know nothing about it, can't hit. How much
Yeah.
cost it?
This runs off of diesel, and there's a diesel tank,
Yes, sir.
and is there natural gas out that way?
Teresa, natural gas do it, right?
Yeah, that's right there. It's on.
I mean, whether you replace the motor with a natural gas, or if you have to replace the system, you got the gas going right by there. I mean, a lot of these now run off of natural gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got one on natural gas.
And
Runs
then
far better.
I think when this was put in around 2000,
Right.
and I don't know if it's run out there then, but yeah, we've got natural gas. It's just, you know, lights go out, we shut down, everything's down.
Sheriff, so, is it possible for you to have someone research what you would like to replace that with, and what the cost and everything would be?
Well, we talked to Touch Ridge, and of course, that was on the Caterpillar, and I felt like the Caterpillar would probably be more money out of it.
Yeah,
But
Nixon.
it's in the upper, it's going around 130 plus the labor. You gotta have a crane truck and everything to set this thing in, so there's some cost, it's not right there when you're looking at it. But, yeah, I'd be glad to do whatever, I just can't see putting that in there to see if the rest of the motors,
Right.
and then if we spend that, come find out,
And then something else can go wrong with it.
And it's still a 20-year-old generator.
Yeah, I think you'd have 80,000 in it.
Right.
You gotta break it in half.
I give you that guy's number, he's pretty straight shooter, so he's not with Nixon, he's independent.
Nothing's really pressing on the truck. And we like to know where we're at on it, but that refrigeration, what's that, and again, we're looking at over 20 years old, we've got real good service out of it, but every time they come and Freon and everything, it's starting to be an expense. And then if it shuts down,
Is this the one that the compressor was going bad?
yeah, we've been doctoring it,
I thought we addressed that.
We did, but I don't think we ever come to, where the funds would come from.
The funds were put into the budget, they weren't spent.
What would I mean, what,
They were, we moved between 5,000 and 6,000 in to the budget for that last year.
uh-huh.
But, I had talked, I think, to Beth about, I think at that point you were thinking you were gonna work with someone and get something, but that didn't work out, and so the money was there. I think you may have had to use some of it for some other repairs last year.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably something you'd heard from work on, I just,
Mhm.
What are you
Well,
looking at
everything-
money wise, Tim?
so,
What are you looking at money wise on that?
on the refrigerator, we're looking anywhere 10, 12,000 on the size we got now, and I think that would carry us pretty good.
I thought we actually set money aside from the ARP money to buy that. I mean, I know we discussed it at one point,
Yeah,
so.
we ended up putting, we received money from insurance for something. I researched it downstairs. And so we moved that money into his repair line item. But the plan was we were gonna get something from Dixon, and I don't think that ever panned out, and so that money sat in that line item.
Yeah, I thought we actually had decided that we would go ahead and go with the new one rather than keep nickeling and diming the other. I thought we agreed to that, but.
That, the compressor and all that would have been, but the box won't accept the new stuff, and
I think we had it, we definitely had it on the list. I don't think we ever added it. We were waiting to see. I would throw out there, I mean, a lot of these are pretty high priced.
yeah.
And I know you've heard this from me before, but when the hospital transfers and that budget is not needed, that's freed up American Rescue Plan money that could then possibly be reallocated. It's just one idea. Otherwise, we're gonna have to go back and kind of look for where to take these funds from.
Well, and I know it seems expensive, but you also have to think about our newer generation refrigerators and things are more energy efficient.
Absolutely.
And they're gonna probably save you,
Well,
not a ton, but at least a little bit in energy savings over.
I'm just looking forward to things.
if we have to gas it one more time, they said we're going to have to go to the new gas system on it, and don't know how that's gonna do with it. That's what we have to find some, we've been using the old,
Oh, I
and we're out now.
Yeah.
I
And
understand.
it's very hard to find. We had
All I
some,
know about one that, what, R14.
he told us that we'd have to change it, but I was just gonna bring it up.
Have you got a price on the new one yet, or?
The refrigeration, we're probably looking to get to here around 10, and I don't know if that was including putting it up, but I think that we can put it up. We took one down, so I think we can put one up. That would save us a lot of labor. If they let us stay less, I think they will. We got generator, every time the storms and things happen. Because now, last time it moved, prisoner rate was up to $42 a day. I don't know what it is, these groceries and everything all up, and I don't know anybody that wants any extra right now.
Really, Chris, over the natural gas is.
Natural gas is
That would be the way to go.
If you can,
It
if
seems
you
like
make
it
it work.
would. You look at Texas, when they had their prices with the cold, natural gas wouldn't flow through the pipes because it was too cold. I really think probably diesel is more reliable, but
It had to be cheaper than what we're doing now.
You might want to look at Kohler as well for a generator too. If they're becoming one of the major
That's what we
builders
got.
of,
That's what all ours are.
Well, before you leave, I'd like,
I'll send a text.
maybe he can advise us.
Yeah, I'll text you. You got it on your phone.
Okay. Maybe he can advise us what route to go on.
Yeah, he deals in Kohler. He works on all of them, but they deal in Kohler. Mostly.
That again, like I say, if power goes down, sewage system, everything goes down from the pumps. Then the sewage system, everything.
Yeah, we got two on diesel and one on natural gas. And, so far, we never had trouble with the natural gas.
Most of these Caterpillar, I mean, you go to any dealership, this Generac, like he said, that's a New Holland motor, and then we call to get parts for that, we gotta go through Generac, then they charge about 30% more than what New Holland was for
Yeah.
a part on diesel motor. And it's like it doesn't include it, it's got New Holland stamp on it, you give them a serial number, they don't know nothing about it. So they send it to them and patent it over to theirs. No.
Getting back to your first question about your truck,
Yes, sir.
what did y'all, ever come up with a price
figure out
on
how
it?
to pay for that truck.
Anything?
I have all the
What,
research
what do you,
downstairs.
what do we need to do so you can take the truck and give it to the liquor?
Well, we felt like what was it? 10,000 on? And that, they booked for more than that, but we've never, the last one we done with the county, we put it midway of it, or not, or took some of it off. And we did discuss Miss Hooper, was wanting to need a vehicle, and we got from Durango out there too, that she might be, or y'all might be interested in. It's in good shape, one owner. I think, what you got, 75,000 on stuff?
You sound like a used car salesman. You gonna sell cars when you retire?
Man, I've been a poor sheriff ever since I've been in this business. You gotta move them around. But, that's something too, probably get in a lot cheaper than something else, and it is all-wheel drive. So one on the vehicle, seats are good in, interior's good in, cruisers a few times, but
And then we talked about the truck, we got a good money to talk to it, but
We did.
we was looking.
The thing with the truck is the truck was bought with drug fund money, right? 122.
Well, that ain't, I know you run.
It was a long convoluted, but.
Right, it was traded, it was traded, right.
Yes.
Long story short, it come from the
ended up,
drug fund.
the money needs to go back into the drug fund for that truck. Now, did we not allocate $35,000 for the property assessor's vehicle? So if there's a used vehicle that would work for the property assessor, and we could buy the litter truck and spend $35,000, you could reallocate that money for both those vehicles.
you've
Just a
got.
thought, if they're both,
Or less. We don't have
or
to-
less, or less.
We set up the 35,000.
Don't get excited,
Sorry.
Sherry.
And
Don't
we
get
had
excited.
talked
Calm
about
down.
the Durango for the property assessor and the
Yeah.
truck going over. So
So that's,
it's just a matter of,
just
Moving
moving
the
that
money.
around, yeah, we could move that around, you guys can move that around.
Or make that happen.
Well, the truck, we just put, $5,200 in it.
Yeah, I can add it.
we got to get all credit,
Yes,
so
we took it off.
the gas deal, whatever.
The transmission, we did, the
Yes.
transmission transfer case we put in 2 years ago. I mean, It,
always makes a difference.
What are you
it's been at
thinking
the
on the
sheriff's office.
Durango?
Huh?
What are you thinking on the Durango?
What, about 16?
That's more than the truck.
See it, Johnson.
Huh?
That's more than the truck.
It's a lot better, air conditioner is.
Hey,
It's all about the air.
see it, Johnson.
Yeah.
See it, Johnson.
Huh?
See it, Johnson. Did you talk?
But, it's in real good shape. There's no dents, it's just one of our organs, we come into maneuvers and we space them. We've learned if we sell them pretty quick, they bring something.
How much you say again?
Probably looking around 60, but for close to 20, 18s up to 19.
What did you say though?
We'll take 6 days for it. Thursday deal all day long.
So 16,000.
You're looking 26,000 for 2 years.
That's 10,000 for the
Huh?
Is it 16,000 for the Durango and 10,000 for the truck?
Yeah.
What if we,
Now, the Durango, is that drug fund money or is that sheriff?
That's gonna be drug fund as well.
Drug fund money.
we've set aside 35,000 for the property assessor's vehicle. What if we just move that 35,000 to the sheriff? And the sheriff he gets his walk-in cooler. And he gets the money for a truck and a Durango, however that works out. And the county gets a litter truck and a Durango.
I make a motion, we do that.
Sounds good.
And that way, nothing really changes in the budget. We just move that money from here to here. And that should take care of it. It'll get you real close.
You can get
You
that
may
on-
not get your full 16,000.
You get that on Monday night. then.
your refrigerator.
As long as it doesn't invalidate your refrigerator.
That's gonna leave you 9,000 now for your refrigerator.
That's cash deal.
And we had to add to it, we're in the new budget. I'm sure these come to terms. But that, however, when things break out there, it's always the middle of the night on Saturday or Sunday. Everybody's like tears up.
When I got my paperwork on it, I'd make sure the fridge was fixed first and then you can adjust the numbers on the deed.
Yeah, Tony's thinking like.
We'll have to talk about that in a minute.
No.
Is there any,
Oh,
Ken, is there any salvage value of the old refrigerator out there, or is it just something for scrap?
Well, what we talked about doing is take the pressure, because most of these are not inside. Most of them are outside where they can vent, especially with new condition. Denser systems in them, they're supposed to be outside. Well, somehow or another, this got built inside, so we was gonna take all that off the top of it. This actually runs in the attic of the jail where it stays over 100 degrees. I'm really surprised it's worked as well as it has. But we're just gonna take that off. Instead of taking that out, we're just gonna just use that for dry storage because it is a lockable door on it. And just put shelves in there and use that for dry storage and put our new one outside, like it's supposed to be. So honestly, there's not hardly nothing to furbish out of it other than space.
Now, the property assessor does have a vehicle. It's an old vehicle. But if that vehicle could be sold by the sheriff
yeah,
and kept that money, it might help with the rest of the cost of the cooler.
we think it'd be worth.
It's not worth money.
It's not worth
Oh,
much.
yeah.
Oh,
If you
man.
had it for a month or so, it'd probably worth.
Oh, him would be worth a lot.
Everybody gonna get 5,000, get about 26,000.
You kidding me, son? See, it's so.
Well, honestly, if you want to do that,
I mean, it may get you a couple $1,000s, which
well, that might be so.
your cooler is, you're getting closer there to having enough money for everything. It's just a thought. I mean, did we want to keep that vehicle for anything?
Well, actually, we're storing the old fire truck.
It's up at the convenience center. We actually have 2 old Jeeps that need to be surplus because they're nickel and diming us every time. Every time they get started and move, they develop new leaks, or they need a new tire, or new hoses, or whatever.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, these things they're 94, 95, 96 year model Jeep Cherokees.
that can be accomplished by transferring the vehicles, because they're county vehicles. I can transfer them into the sheriff department. The sheriff can then surplus them and use the money for the repairs, if that's what y'all want to do.
Or we still, we'll help the county get them going and all that, and then like we did on the loader. I mean, they sure ain't bringing nothing as they are now, and they're pretty rough.
Get a road ready and sell them.
And I think the red one's got new tires and some front end work on it. We could recoup something to put back somewhere else. But I would be glad to talk to Ms. Hooper if she wants to come out and look. I mean, it's 4 doors, all-wheel drive. It's I think she's really.
All you gotta do is tell her the air conditioner works, and she'll be good.
That's what she's got now.
I mean, if she's gonna put this on the agenda Monday night,
It's got new tires.
we're gonna vote
I'll
on it.
talk to Joy in the morning,
Okay.
see if she'll go out and look at it and just, you know, make sure that you're.
Because it's a big decision.
She don't want to share from Joy and you.
Sorry.
She's gonna want them.
If she- yeah, Joy would come back and show them.
It's
They
available
don't want
that
that
Jeep.
extra
Available
ride,
that
they
Jeep.
want it dumped from there.
I can't imagine.
I'll book those vehicles out and make sure that they're worth that.
Huh?
I used to book out vehicles for. credit unions
HoustonCounty.com
before, so I'll
auto
book
trade.
those out and make sure we're getting a good deal.
HoustonCounty.com auto trade.
You got to figure on your mileage, condition.
Thank
They go up,
you.
that go up.
Yeah, make sure you book those that the sheriff is selling them, not buying them.
What about the loader out at the, convenience center now with the bucket and all that? The county fella ever come fix that or? And still scraping and using it every day?
I hate to even ask, how much is a bucket compared to fixing?
Well, we don't-
Oh, shoot, you don't want to buy.
You don't want to buy
Okay,
them. You
okay.
just need the-
Just curious.
Right, it needs new skin plates. And
Cut
it may need some
You might-
repair work on the,
Right,
on the.
but if
Cutting
it's-
and welding it
But I
up.
think
Right.
Chris's point is, it's only getting worse.
It-
If
it-
it's not
it
getting
is.
worse.
I mean,
The,
if Caterpillar's not gonna show up, we might find somebody
Who
else.
does the county highway department's work like that?
Probably got their own.
They got their own mechanic.
Like, we talked to Teresa and them,
Hey, Teresa,
help us out.
in case I forget, where do you, I need to find out where y'all get your cutting edges and stuff from for your, equipment. You get it from Thompson?
Most of the time.
Well, I've
But
been
you
trying-
have
I've
some
been trying to get, I've
places
been
you
trying-
can get them.
we
Right.
have.
I've been trying to get a cutting edge from Thompson for 6 months.
She probably got a better, good connection to them, much equipment that she's got.
But it's more back into the bucket so much, it's more back into the holes where you bumped on the cutting edges, and the cutting edges have disappeared from, and it's wearing the bucket out, and it's like to have some welding and torch work done on it.
Yeah, could you-
Did you get a Holton out
I did.
welder?
Yeah.
Cause he's really good.
Okay.
But I can look, I know we get some things from IMCO, but, most of the time we're getting from Caterpillar, Thompson, but I'll look into it.
Okay.
But I mean, it's been done for a long time, so.
Yeah, seems like we need.
That's a lot of money.
to Change the cutting edges out of them, so long.
After this
Let's
lesson,
put it on-
let's go ahead and get an extra one when we have the money and have it in
See how long they
a
last.
That's a good idea.
They used to where you can reverse them, you know, a lot of them like that, so. But somebody
I'm sure
took
they
them
got a
off,
lot of snow plow, during the snow plow days, they could wear them out quick.
but they're scraping on that concrete every day.
Yeah, same, about the same thing.
Right.
All right, that's all I got.
Keep open here.
Y'all have a good
All right,
day.
Will, what's going on, buddy? Feel hot over there.
You want that, so you get ready.
Yeah, I really have listened to you, I'll tell you that. I like hot better than cold.
At least you look at it and it's 76 degrees at night.
That's
You
right.
don't have to, you
That's
don't have to run
right.
the whole lot to get to comfortable.
That's
If it's 0 at night, I mean,
Ain't much you can do. Hang in there.